the week gone? It's definitely Friday. These are always on a Friday. Friday, the 20th of March. And today I have got Jonathan Smith on, who I'll come to in just a second. Thank you very, very much for joining. We have a fair few people that come on and listen to these live, and then obviously it will stay on LinkedIn, well, for forever, unless I delete it. So if you are live, it would be really cool if you could just pop any comments or questions in the comments below, and I'll give you a shout out. And as we move on, we'll be able to ask Jonathan lots of questions. I've got loads of questions to ask him. And we had a quick catch up before we came on, and we realized that there was way too many questions for half an hour. So we will keep it as energetic and fun and, you know, to the point as we possibly can. This is not designed to be a snooze fest. This is designed to be a Friday, come on, let's get ready for the weekend, bit of energy. And I've been getting some amazing people on. So the first one of these I did, so this is the third one. The first one I did, I had Guy on and we talked about paddle and all the events that we're doing. And I should mention that we are hosting a party. So this is paddle and pub networking combined next Thursday, the 26th of March in Reading. I will just pop a link in. So if you are interested in coming to that, then please go to the website after this live, open it up now and then go back to it later. And yeah, we look forward to seeing lots of you there. And then last week I had Andrea on and we were talking about events and some really cool venues. She'll be coming on again, I think, because we want to cover some more you know, cooler things within the world of events. We are talking trends and what's hot and what's not in terms of summer parties that you might be hosting, Christmas parties that are coming up. I mean, I've been doing events forever, and talking about Christmas in March and April is not unusual. Then next week we've got Gareth from Open Doors, Open Mind on, who is a founder of a mental health charity, and we're actually doing an event together on the 30th of March. So this is in Wokingham in Berkshire. So again, I will just pop a link below, and that is a free event. I don't do any free events unless it's something like this. So this is not networking. This is an opportunity for guys over the age of 13 to come along and see it as a safe space to be, you know, talked to and educated by Gareth and Scott, who run the charity, and also, you know, have a chat, share stories. And then the week after, we have got Mila Smith on, who, if anyone has been following me for a while that's on at the moment, will have seen I hosted a singles night last month. That was interesting. It was great. I've heard about 2 dates so far off the back of that, which is great. But she's coming on and we're going to be talking about relationships and dating and relationships in the office place as well, which is, you know, a bit of a juicy subject for a Friday afternoon. And then I'm going to have Alex Harding on at some point to talk about travel. So he is a travel expert, but there's a huge amount going on in the world at the moment. So I think his insight would be absolutely key for people, you know, deciding on where to go for their upcoming holidays. I mentioned that these lives are about promoting things that are on. So I'm selfishly talking about the events that I host. So as I said, there is a Paddle Partners Networking and Woco Loco combined event next week, which is the 26th. The mental health event, which is on the 30th, which is a Monday. That's 6 till 8 p.m. And then I've got 2 Woco Locos. So it's pure and simple pub networking. There's one in London on the 16th and one in Berkshire on the 22nd of April. So yeah, click that link. You'll go through to my Eventbrite page, and that's where you can sign up for the events. And yeah, hope to see you there if I've never met you. But if you're a regular, then yeah, great stuff. Right, so I am going to introduce Jonathan now. He is a sales and marketing expert with a bit of a twist. So he's all about the psychology of sales, which is something I am obsessed with. I've worked either in sales or with sales teams for many, many, many years now, and I love digging a little bit deeper into sales. I say methodologies. I'm not the biggest fan of sales methodologies because, well, we'll come on to my why later, but certainly thinking about how people think either when they're buying or selling. So Jonathan, over to you. I'm going to let you just give your, I know you said you don't like elevator pitches, and that's absolutely fine. I know loads of people that don't love an elevator pitch, but I would love you to talk about, you know, what you're up to, and you can almost go straight in and tell us about your journey as to how you got where you are today.
Sure. Thank you for inviting me, obviously. Thank you. Yeah, well, the elevator pitch, as we're discussing just before we came on board, for two reasons. I'm a words person, so the word pitch I don't like, purely because people don't like to be sold to it.
No.
Elevators, I don't like elevators. I don't trust them, to be honest. I lived in a block of flats that had 4 levels, and me and my other half were in the flat, and we stayed in the second level. And just as before the doors opened, the lady said, 21st floor. And I looked at my other half and went, well, this is going to be interesting. I don't trust them. So that's as far as elevators are concerned. Yes, elevator pitches are not something that I really enjoy. I'm just going to quickly change a setting. Sorry, I just noticed I've got one of these cameras. I don't know if anyone's got these ones that follows you around the room.
Follow you. Yeah, yeah.
And you really don't want that happening here, that's for sure.
Where are you going?
Am I back?
You're back.
Yes.
No, you never went anywhere. Don't worry. You're all good.
So, apologies for that. So, yes, my history, I guess a little bit of history, would that be good?
Yeah, go for it. We'd love to hear about it.
I was brought up as a single child, which really upset my other 2 sisters. That one's were
you youngest, middle, or oldest?
I was oldest.
Okay.
Yeah, I was oldest, but yeah, a little joke to get started. So I went through. What did I do? So I started off doing artwork. I used to draw celebrities and sell prints of the celebrities at.
Hang on, this is the first time I've heard about this. This is great. I'm so glad I've asked you to go right from the beginning.
Straight to the artwork. Well, I loved doing artwork when I was younger. And it was my first foray into my own business, was selling these prints. And I was thinking about this literally yesterday when I was thinking what we're going to talk about, or what am I going to talk about when I'm on here. And you mentioned obviously the psychology and all that stuff is really important. And I was doing my prints and selling them about the time Princess Diana died. And people were coming up to my stall saying, do you have any pictures of Princess Diana? And I said, no. And they were asking me why. And I said, because I think it's a bit unsavory to be profiting off someone's death. So I actually, looking back on it, thought that's kind of part of my personality, that I'm not a fan of people that take advantage of, bad situations. Yeah. So there's a little something. So I did the artwork, then I moved into graphic design work. Then I ran a web design company. That was very interesting. I then moved from that, basically just doing business, everything in business for a couple of my clients. I get dragged into absolutely everything. And from that point on, I realized, look, I'm more than a web designer, more than a graphic designer. What I really want to do now is I want to do more of the helping people deal with the challenges of their business. And I brought in the psychology side of it. For years, I always had an interest in psychology, but never really paid much attention to it. And it's only lately, maybe the last 5-10 years, I started noticing my questions were different. The way I dealt with people were different. And their responses to me were very much, why aren't people telling us this? Why are we not being asked these kind of questions? So that kind of brings me up to where I am just now. I'll let you ask me something else.
That's all right. Well, one question that's come in from Mila, who's on in a few weeks, is she's asked, what have you done with your sisters?
My sisters are fine, but you really did remind me of them. I've got a daughter, and I was always asked, will you have another child? And my response was always, especially from women, that was like, first reaction was, that's really sweet. Second reaction was, oh my God, that's very dark. So they're like, are you going to have any other children? And I'd be like, no, you can't improve on perfection.
Oh.
The dark answer came second was, but if I had one, I could keep it for spare parts. But my sisters are fine. So Mila.
Very good, very good. Well, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. Amazing. So in terms of my questioning that isn't sister related, I understand you're an author. So I've got lots of authors within the Woco Loco group and beyond. In fact, I just almost said the name of your of what you're doing, Beyond the Chaos, and beyond Woco Loco, lots of people that I know that have written books because they just want to get there. So some that have written more novels, but certainly those that have written business related books. But you wrote a book on SEO, and I'd love to hear more about that. Let's explain to people first and foremost, because not everyone will know what SEO is first, and kind of why you did that and how it's helped some people.
Yes, search engine optimization. It's interesting because it's not the same now as it was back then with the introduction of AI. So
explain what it was then and what it kind of has evolved to now, because I think that's really interesting.
Everybody, well, not everybody, yes, I guess everybody. With the invention of Google, people started searching Google for companies that they're looking for, whatever it is they're looking for.
So it used to be Yellow Pages, of course, didn't it? I worked at Yale for a bit when it was.
And that was the difference between Google, because you had Yale.com as well. Yale.com was a directory, whereas Google was a search engine. So all the listings that Google had, basically they spidered all the websites and basically ordered them in a hierarchy. And SEO, I guess, practitioners, people selling that as a service, they would proclaim they could get you to the top of Google, and they would charge a lot of money for it. And a lot of it was snake oil. And I was started to become aware, because at that time I was doing websites at a website company. And I'd be looking at people's websites and they were terrible. The content-wise was so bad because it was set up for search engines, almost like you go to the homepage, it would be a list of keywords.
Yeah.
And you imagine going to that website to buy, I don't know, tires or handbags or whatever it is, and it's just keywords.
Yeah.
And I threw a phrase out. There's a lady called June Corey who did Google AdWords and everything else, and she stole it from me. But my phrase was, search engines don't buy from you, people do.
Yeah. Yes.
So if you're going to be putting something out on your website that is like that, people are just going to be turned off. However, back to the search engine optimization side of it, I wrote a book called The SEO Myth. And basically it was search engine optimization is the last thing you should do. And it wasn't a glib comment. It should be the last thing you do, because if you've got a circus and the clowns aren't there, then why would you be inviting everyone to turn up?
It's once you perfected everything and worked out for yourself what your messaging is and what it is you really want to do and the sorts of people that you want to have as your clients or customers, right? I absolutely agree with that, because going straight in, it's a costly task first and foremost, right? Working with these experts, but and rightly so. If it's getting you more clients in, great, but there's a way of doing it well. I think it's done best, within blogs and things like that, where those keywords are coming up, but it's not right at the front of what people see. And of course,
it should be the other way around. You should do your content for the message you want to say, and then go, okay, well, this is the keyword or this is a key phrase, and then pepper it in there where it's appropriate. Fast forward, when I had the website company, I went to see a lady to do her website, and I saw her current website, and I said, who did the content for your website? I had an inclination that there was an SEO company involved, and she explained, and she was forking out about £4,000 a month for this SEO. And I said to her, you can't do this with your website. This is not going to work. And she was like, oh, but they know what they're doing. And I explained why, went through some reasons. But I think because she knew I wasn't after SEO work, I wasn't trying to. There
Yeah.
was nothing in it for me to gain. I was
Yeah.
telling her, and she ended up in tears. She got so upset when I was explaining how it should be done.
Yeah.
But yes, going back to the SEO. So I wrote the book, and a couple of things on that are, if you're, how can I put it? You're going to be at the top of Google for something, whatever the keyword is, whatever the key phrase is. The first thing you want to do is, how can you catch the eye of everyone else in that list? Because we can all kind of picture in our head, it's the blue title, some text, blue title, some text. You're there with everybody. How are you going to attract attention? So that was the first thing. And one of the things I did was, well, how about have a number at the very beginning, or even a shape? I worked for an engineering firm, and I did all their SEO, all the organic SEO, and they're at the top everywhere for so many definitions. But they've got two major sites, building and structures. So what I did with their SEO is, anything that's to do with structures, the first line started with a triangle. So on that listing, no one else had triangles at the beginning. And the other one, when it was building investigations, it was a square. Now, it doesn't seem like much, but in a sea of information, you want to at least attract someone's eye. That's the first thing you want to do. And then quickly continue with some statement there that's going to try, that's going to hold them. And then the third thing is, when they click from there to whatever page they're going to click to, my advice is, make sure that pretty much verbatim, the first couple of lines and the title are exactly the same as what's on that link. The reason being is, you want to, because you're transitioning from one place to the other, you want to make sure that they feel, yes, I'm in the right place. Because there was a lot of people using it for nefarious reasons, and they put it as one thing and then take you somewhere else. So as far as the SEO is concerned, without getting too much into the weeds in it, and obviously I'm quite happy to answer other questions about it at a later time, but I would say attract attention in some way, just so you stand out that list. Second thing is hold their attention. Third thing is stay consistent on that messaging, because when they're on that other page, you don't want them to just bounce back off.
Yeah, I find it really interesting, actually, that people spend most time on the About Us page, like getting to know all the people that work there. So it's like, it's all well and good, whatever product or service it is that you're selling. People are really interested in the who.
Isn't that really interesting with all the marketing stuff out there? And this is one of my, I guess, one of the things I kind of approach many people with, is that, with all due respect to all the important work that marketeers do, they talk about how making your website better, how to make your SEO better, how to make your LinkedIn better. But there seem to be very few people that talk about people. And it's people that are buying you. It's your buyer's mind that's running the show, not your marketing.
Yeah.
And it's quite interesting when you were saying that people go to the About Us and look at the people, because basically that's what they're after. They're craving that connection in a world.
I do. That's completely where I go first. I obviously homepage first, get a quick idea, but finding the people that are within it, that are running the show, just to kind of get an idea of. Well,
the other thing is really good.
Meet people in person, but
until you mentioned that, I totally didn't realize I was doing that subconsciously. I've just thought the last couple of websites I went to, and you're right, I do it myself. Just wasn't aware of it.
Yeah. So Adam's just is more of a statement than a question, but he said the best performing sites don't write first and optimize later. They structure their content around search intent from the outset. So every page has clear purpose, audience, and pathway to conversion. Beautiful. Yeah.
I mean, it's great because you've got so many different ways to attack the same problem, and you can look at what you're doing and go make those adjustments. So
yeah, but I think the point here is that it's really, really complex, right? And it's not something, I mean, sure, there's, depending on your price point, your budget, etc. Yes, there's a quick way to put websites together, but if you want to do it properly, work with the experts. But I asked you recently, because we've not known each other all that long, but I knew that you'd done a lot in SEO, and someone asked me, do I know any SEO experts? And you were first to mind, because I think I'd seen you the day before. and you said, no, I don't, that's not what I do anymore. So let's go on to what you do now. You are obviously very happy to talk about SEO all day long, but nowadays you are running Beyond the Chaos. So tell everyone about that.
Sure. So Beyond the Chaos, the full name of the company is Stay Beyond the Chaos. And the whole idea is that with all the noise that we've got in business life and marketing, we just can't, you can't ignore it and you can't get away from it. So what's most important is to manage it. How do you manage the chaos? And in my work, even though predominantly I'll talk about marketing, I've gone into positions where it's conflict resolution as well within businesses. How can you tell if the person is giving you a product or offering you a service, whether it's marketing, for example? How can you tell that they are good at what they're going to do? Most times when I've spoken to companies who have websites, I'm like, how did you decide that this website was good? And he goes, well, I thought it looked nice. I'm like, okay, and that's it? Yes. And you paid how much? £5,000 for it. I also was at another networking event and I spoke to two men there. They were in an IT company and they had just got their website redone. And my question was, why did you get it redone? And they were both like equal partners, I believe. One of them said, I thought it was fine. I don't think we need to get it done. The other guy said, I was bored with it. And I'm like, you were bored with your website? Yeah, it just looks boring. I'm like, well, stop looking at it. And I said, so what did you get done? And they
yeah, exactly. That's a good point, actually. It's boring because you keep looking at it, whereas it's brand new to someone else that's come for the first time.
And design is subjective. And I did ask them, I said, did you work on the content? No. And quite often I have found in the past is when we, especially with our website company back in the day, it was the design they were all focused on. Not us, we were asked to do the work, but the client. It was the design. They wanted to be like this, look like that, follow this other company, whatever. When it came down to the content, we said, okay, so what do you want to do with the content? They were like, oh, just take the content from the old website. And I have a feeling that that is far more scarily common than I'm saying. There's a lady who has a very successful SEO company that's branched into other stuff, and she agrees that happens a lot. And you think, why are you paying all this money just to redesign your website? If there's functionality missing, that makes sense. You want to add some functionality, of course.
But there's a complete rebrand. If someone is having a complete rebrand, name change, all of that, completely diversified, pivot, whatever you want to call it, perhaps. Right. But as you say, if you just want a refresh,
I would say even if you're having a rebrand, you don't need to rebuild your website. If you think about it structurally, I mean, we redecorate our house. We don't knock the whole thing to the ground and build it back up again.
Some people do. Well, some people go to town, don't they?
But I have a feeling that, I mean, the thing is, website designers like to design websites. It's the same. Surgeons like to cut. Web designers like to design websites, but there's a lot of wasted money. And things like, SEO is a great example. The right content being seen in the right place will make all the difference. You could keep your website pretty much exactly the same, spend a fraction of the price, just change the headlines, just change that content, just make it more succinct. And you save all that money. You don't spend it on anything if you don't want to. And I think in the current climate, people can save thousands and thousands of pounds by merely looking at their content, making that adjustment. I mean, for me, that's a big thing that I push in my company. It's like, let's not change something just because you don't like it, especially design of your website. There's just, I don't see the value in it.
Especially as a business owner mindset, or with a business owner mindset, right? You probably coming at it from the wrong angle. You need to think about it. This leads us beautifully on to kind of how we pitched this live, right? Is about, but it's not just the seller's mindset; it is the buyers and being able to adapt into that. just a second. I'm just going to come back to some other question statements that we've had on. So Adam said, again, with relation to the about page or the meet the team page, about real photos and, proper bios beat, generic stuff every time. And I absolutely agree. I'll be really engaged with content that it is real. And then we've got, I don't know who this person is. It just says LinkedIn user, but it's all about the people. Yes, it is. I mean, this is why I run my networking groups, because it is all about the people. There's thousands of people that do, what Jonathan does, I do, you do, whoever you are, LinkedIn user. But it's about building those connections. So yeah, people, all about the people. And then Mila, this is a bit of a question based on what you said earlier. So I've been advised by marketeers to tap into people's pain and mention the problems you solve. Do you agree?
Yes and no. How about that for an answer? I think, and this kind of like, it works very well with the networking situations. You don't want to sell in a negative. You don't want to promote yourself on a negative, if that makes sense. You don't want to be talking about negative stuff yourself. However, people love to complain. So my approach to this in regards to marketing, especially if it's person on person, I really would avoid selling on pain parts online, just because interpretation could cause a problem. But in person to person conversations, ask the questions. Ask whatever your service is. So for argument's sake, I'm selling a website. I'm selling websites for argument's sake. I'd ask the person in front of me, do you have a website? Yes. What do you think of website designers? They're a pain in the ass. Okay. Why are they pain in the ass? And follow that conversation. They'll love to complain about web design or whatever it is. It doesn't matter if it's finance, pretty much everything that people buy, at some point they've had an issue with it. Mm-hmm. So what's very good about that is that they're the one bringing up the information. And the second thing is you can go, oh my God, I do that. I need to get rid of that in the website. I need to stop talking about this. I need to make sure that if I'm approaching someone with my service, that I don't say this or don't do that. So, so in kind of answer to Mila's question is, yes, you can sell on the pain, but make sure the pain is coming from the person. You're not putting it on them, because it may not be their pain. You could just, make it up. Why would you make up something that's not true? That's not a very good way to kind of start the conversation.
Amazing answer. No, that's really good. Another question or point is that having a call to action somewhere, which leads me again beautifully on to the call to action here from everybody is if they want to work with you or ask you any questions, how do they do that? What can they do as a next step to book in a one-to-one or something with you to see how you might be able to help their business and how that looks?
I'm more than happy to have a get to know you conversation. I think on Zoom works very well. I think it really does.
Or come to a Woco Loco and meet him there.
Sorry, I know I wrote that down. I forgot to say.
No, I'm only joking. I'm joking.
That and an email. And there's an email address, there's a phone number, and there's all that stuff on the website. But yeah, having a chat online is easy because people get a better idea of who you are. I'm not personally, and probably it's the same for most people. I prefer first meetings face to face, but it's just not always practical. You pick up for.
Sorry to interrupt, but I'm just conscious we've only got a minute left. No. But if someone were to work for you, and we'll make up a type of business, I don't know, let's just say it's a small SaaS business and they are looking for somebody like yourself to come and help with their sales, to talk to their sales team. What would that process look like working with Jonathan Smith from Beyond the Chaos?
I've only got three options. One, there's a one-to-one consultancy that's like half day or full day.
And that would be with the individuals, that would be with each of the sales team members.
The one-to-one is, say, the head of the business, or there's like a C-suite consultancy. So that's like the heads of all the different departments. So we group together and talk stuff. I also offer workshops as well, especially in regards to marketing, because if you've got third-party people, do you know what they want to do? They want to get your job out the door as quickly as possible so they can get the next job in. If that's their priority and their motivation, that's not good for your company. So getting them on board, your in-house marketing team, and then making sure that everyone's following the same rules, have the same focus. One final point, because I know we're running out of time. When you understand the human behavior aspects and the buyer psychology, you can quality control anything that's given to you, even if you do not have expertise in SEO or website design or graphic design. You can use these concepts to quality control the work that they've been given. So you can say, no, not good enough, or brilliant, thanks very much.
Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you. The LinkedIn user who I couldn't work out who it is, and if it's who I think it is based on GG, they will appreciate that I can't actually see anything on LinkedIn at the moment whilst I'm broadcasting this live. I'm going to guess that's Guy Griffiths, who was on the first live where we were talking about paddle and networking and, you know, people and human connections and all that lovely stuff as well. So cheers, Guy. I don't know why it's just said you're a LinkedIn user. Yeah, there we go. But no, really interesting. Some really brilliant comments and statements and engagement on this live today. So thank you, everybody, for joining. I will be putting copies of these onto YouTube as well, which runs alongside my podcast, which is the Dave and Georgie Show. Having a little bit of a hiatus in that at the moment whilst I'm looking for a new studio. So that should be going live again with series 2 later on in the year. Just thank everybody for joining, and I hope everyone has an amazing weekend. Please do get in touch with Jonathan to talk about anything. Initial calls, you know, that's always part of the process. If you have a chat and you decide it's not for you, then that's fine, but having those calls in the first place is absolutely key, and that is what I always talk about at networking events as well. Come to the networking events, meet people, but do your goddamn follow-ups. Even seasoned networkers, honestly, it's the bane of my life. Is people not doing their follow-ups. It takes no time at all, even just to send a quick DM. And yeah, I urge you to do something, because, you know, every little step can go towards the success of your business and your mindset and things. But yeah, we're out here waiting to help your business and you as individuals as well. So make the most of people like us that are sitting in the wings waiting to work for people. But yeah, Jonathan, any last statements from you? In fact, I'm going to get one last thing from you. I know we're not going to cover all the topics that we've mentioned earlier, but
no, we didn't, but that's fine.
No, it's perfect, because we've had loads of questions to engage with. But what is your top networking tip, like face-to-face, in-person networking tip, if you're meeting people?
Obviously, I have a few. The quickest one I would say, and I mentioned it a few people, is eye contact. When you're looking at someone and their blink rate increases, that's an indicator that they're under stress, cognitive stress. Now, it could be they're not quite understanding what you're saying. It could be they're distracted. It could be that they're just not interested and want to get the hell away from you. Thank you. But the great thing is with them, you're looking at people's eyes anyway. So it's just this is an overload, and then notice it, and then stop talking, ask them a question. I would say out of the few that I had in my head, that's the quickest one, just in the interest of time.
I love that so much. And it's so, I mean, I'm a pain in the bum at networking events because I'm hosting them. So I'm always, and I'm very conscious that I do it, but I'm always looking for new people that are arriving. And I feel really rude for it. But I think, you know, everyone knows me well enough to know I'm not trying to be rude at all. But if you're talking to somebody and they're not organizing the event and you know, trying to work the logistics as well, but when they're looking over their shoulder or, you know, they're unengaged, but actually you've hit the nail on the head there in terms of looking or listening out for those key, I'm not interested, or I don't like you, okay. Or, you know, it's so normal.
Don't take it as fine. Not everyone's going to like everybody, and you don't need to like everybody. But yes, it's far better to notice them and remove yourself from the situation than it is to just keep going and going.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Right, we're going to finish. Gareth for next week has just said looking forward to speaking to everybody. Yeah, can't wait for it, Gareth. It's going to be amazing. And we've got not only the session on the 30th to promote, but also your event that you've got coming up as well. And then we've got a few other comments on there as well, but we'll go and deal with those on LinkedIn now. So yeah, thank you everybody, and see you soon.
Thank you.